Oh, I gotta add me. There I am. I gotta add me to the screen. There we are. So all right, we are live on the Facebook side. So hopefully y'all understand, this is new. All right, so I'm getting used to it. So yeah, the intro on Facebook and the in the YouTube side, I finally got it set so that I can actually go live on both at the same time, which is great. So the comment, so y'all drop the comments. As you drop the comments, they will come up, they will stream live across, well, not all of them, but I will be able to select them. So I see Lou in the Lou popped in. He said, I'm excited about you on YouTube. So Lou is on the YouTube side. Renee says, hey, coach, she is on the Facebook side. We got Ellen popped in there. It's a good evening. Good evening. She says she feels something. She didn't get to finish it. But this is cool. I like the fact that I can do both at the same time on the YouTube and the Facebook side. She said, I feel like watching the Academy Awards opening. Yeah. minus my full power. What I forget to put myself on the screen, right? It just comes to a dark screen. Everybody's like, oh, what happened? So I got Merry Christmas. So it says Facebook user. So if you want me to be able to know who you are when you make a comment on the Facebook side or the YouTube side, all you have to do is in the description. I think it's in the description. There's an option for you to click to allow StreamYard to post your profile picture, basically to post your profile picture. Because that's a great way, because in that way, when you pop up there, you don't pop up on the screen as just user. We can actually see who you are. So Andrea there with Big Goomba, Big Goomba's wife in the house. So I appreciate that. So let's get going, y'all. We're talking about electrolytes. So y'all, as y'all know, I always have my notes. Thanks to Renee, I got my book instead of using sticky notepads all the time. So I had my notes that I just really wanted to share with y'all today, because I really have been thinking about electrolytes. I said Lou, and the Lou said doing it. I appreciate you, Lou. So the electrolytes, like, I think that people don't really understand why they're important. It's like, because I've been talking about electrolytes. Most of y'all who come in, y'all hear me talk about electrolytes a lot. And I think that some people just kind of look at it as like a product or, whatever. But electrolytes are important for the ketogenic lifestyle, because you tend to not have as many electrolytes as you used to. So let's talk about electrolytes. Renee says that book is working for you. He said that book is where, oh yeah, Renee. So Renee, did y'all see Renee there? She's the one that's like, you need to start writing a book. So the book is definitely working for me, because I tend to write on, I'm gonna show y'all my sticky note pile here that I'm going to go through, and I'm gonna take all of these that are still relevant. Don't judge me. So y'all see this pile of sticky notes? Like, I got a pile of these things, y'all. They falling all over the place. So I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to take all the ones that's relevant, and I'm going to write them in my book. So that's one of the things that I'm doing to improve myself. We got the new year coming up, so I definitely want to work on that. That's one of the things I'm going to work on. Definitely. I've been writing down a lot more. So even just writing this down, not even though I know it, but writing it down to talk to you about it is just helps. It just helps a whole lot. It helps me to put it in order. It helps me to get my thoughts on page. It helps me to think about things that you might ask. So sometimes I can answer a question before you even ask it, because I've really thought through the process. I'm not just showing up here, y'all, just showing up like, hey, it's Sunday and let me pop on here and say something. So y'all see it. We got a couple pages of notes here for y'all. So y'all should be taking notes too. Let's get ready. So I see Facebook use. Someone says hello down there. So I can't tell who it is. From this angle here. So let's get going. So why do you need electrolytes? So electrolytes, they have a positive, they have the positive and the negative charges, y'all. And if you think about our body is run by electrical pulses. So these electrical pulses actually come from the brain communicating with other parts of our body. So the nervous system, so all of these need these many electrical charges. So if you ever seen, back in school when they show videos of the nervous system, and it like looks like a little electrical like wiring and like a little electrical currents going through it, it actually is, right? So the nervous system and the brain, it needs those electrolytes, because those electrolytes house those positive and negative charges, which actually allow all of the electricity to flow through your body and send signals and send messages to where they need to go. So sometimes, I try not, I always try not to say too much too fast, and that's one of the things where I'm always trying to back up, because I'll get super scientific. So I really try to also make it so it's not super scientific. You said trying Facebook, my phone is dying. All right, so definitely go ahead and click that StreamYard thing there, so we know who you are, so I can shout you out while we're here. So that's one of the main things. So you need those electrolytes, because it's going to help your brain talk to the rest of your body. So I'll speak on this a little bit more later. So that's why people have muscle cramps, because what happens is you're lacking the potassium, and I'll come back to that. And the brain is sending the signal, and the potassium is not there to help it fire the signal to the muscle, and the muscle, it just kind of keeps repeat. And that's when you get the spasms or the cramps, and you're like, ah. So that's what happens with that, because it's the lack of potassium, which is one of the electrolytes. So let me speak on that. So there are about 5 of them, but I'm just going to talk about the 3 that we interact with the most. I mean, calcium is one of them, but that's one I'm not going to really speak on that much. But sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So we hear about that a lot. Some people will even talk about supplementation and all of those things with those. But those are the electrolytes that we need. And as I say, there are about 5 of them, main ones. But we're just going to talk about and focus on these 3. So what happens is what happens when you were eating a high carb diet, when you had the high carb lifestyle. When you had the high carb lifestyle, you retained water. You retained all of this water. You were bloated all of the time, because water and electrolytes kind of like they go hand in hand. So that water and that electrolytes were sitting in there, so you didn't flush them out as much. So now when you're on the ketogenic lifestyle, you're not housing or holding as much water, so you're going to the bathroom a little bit more, and when you go, the electrolytes go as well. So when you think about sweating, when you sweat, what happens? I mean, if you're anything like I was as a kid, I go outside and play basketball in 100-degree heat, and I would have like that white ring on my shirt, or I would even have it on my face. I would even have like the salt on my face, or even on my shirts when I would come home. And that's the electrolytes. All those electrolytes that left my body, and they were on my clothing. So what did they tell us to do back then? Drink Gatorade. Gatorade is more sugar in Gatorade than electrolytes. So that's one of the things one of the reasons why I always tell y'all, when people say, well, I'm going to get Gatorade or Powerade, to kind of stay away from those on the ketogenic lifestyle, because they have more sugar in them than they have electrolytes. So let's get to the real. If there's any questions on the Facebook side, y'all definitely drop them up there. Said Coach, your picture is getting blurry. Yeah, I think it might be the software. I might have to back off of this software. I don't know. I'm testing it out, Renee. So hopefully it comes back. Well, hopefully you can at least hear me, if nothing else. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how it works out, Renee. So we'll check it out and see how that works. All right. So when you look at the sodium, what happens is that in your body, the insulin tells the kidney to reabsorb sodium. So we're always afraid. So when people start the ketogenic lifestyle, the first thing they ask me is like, well, you're telling me to add salt to things, like, that's going to increase my blood pressure. The reason why your blood pressure rises is because you've been retaining water. So a lot of the times the insulin and the diabetes and the retention of water, all of that goes all together. And what we notice is that insulin is going to tell the kidney to reabsorb the sodium. So even you're not able to release it. So water is retained as well, and is resulting in high blood pressure. So that's why the ketogenic lifestyle, when you're adding the salt, is not necessarily going to contribute to that high blood pressure, because your high blood pressure was happening because the insulin was telling the kidney, hey, reabsorb that salt, because we got a lot of water. So I heard an analogy that was pretty cool. You think about the salt shakers, like back in the day. So I see good evening. So Renee said, yes, you can hear me. So you think about salt shakers. So back in the day, I know my grandmother used to have these salt shakers in the house. She lived in Virginia, and she would put rice in the salt shaker. And what's the reasoning for people putting the rice in the salt shaker? You know, and I always thought, you know, so the salt would come through the little holes better. And yes, that's part of it, but it's because of the clumping that happens with the salt, or the with sodium in the salt shaker. So with the humidity, the salt would literally like draw the water out of the atmosphere, and it would create these little clumps. So when you put the rice in there, you think of rice being a carbohydrate or rice being a carb. Rice would absorb the water instead of the salt absorbing the water. So therefore, you were able to get a smooth shake through the salt shaker. So you think about the carbohydrates, the high sugary diets absorb that water, and it holds on to it. And then you also can think that the water and the electrolytes, they are one in one, because when the water goes, the electrolytes go as well. And you'll notice on the ketogenic lifestyle, you will tend to go to the bathroom more, you know, and that's one of the reasons why you need to drink a little bit more water as well, or just make sure you're getting your proper amounts of water. Yes. So I see Big Goomba said it's why a diuretic is offered, prescribed to blood pressure meds. Exactly. So that's exactly why a diuretic is prescribed. So y'all, it's so funny because it all goes together. The diabetes, the high blood sugar, the high blood pressure, all of it is going together, you know. And I know we're talking about the ketogenic lifestyle, but y'all know I'm passionate about teaching people about how to help themselves when it comes to the high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and all of those type of things. And as always, consult with your doctor. I am not here pretending to be a medical professional. I'm giving you some advice from the things that I've learned through the ketogenic lifestyle. And I am my degree in biology and just learning science over the years. I do have a degree in biology, but that does not make me a doctor. All right. So y'all definitely make sure y'all consult with your doctor, but I'm going to give you some information that you can take when you go and ask and have some pertinent questions to ask. So we're talking about, if you missed it, we're talking about electrolytes. I'm really kind of breaking down why you need electrolytes. This is one of the reasons why you need the electrolytes, because the insulin, when your insulin is up, the insulin is going to tell the kidney, hey, just reabsorb that sodium. Just reabsorb it. Take it right back. So don't get rid of it. Don't excrete it. Just keep it. And that's why people say, oh man, you know, my and that excess salt is what actually helps or makes you have high blood pressure as well, because you retain the water. And as Big Goomba says, that's why diabetics are given diuretic in order to release the water from their body. So the low carb diet, the sodium and salts, they get excreted. So if you're doing keto, those salts get excreted, which is the reason why we say you need those electrolytes. They're a necessity. All right, you need the electrolytes because they get excreted, because you're not eating a high sugar diet that's actually making you retain it. And let's remember, the water and the electrolytes, they're going to go together. They either going to stay together or they're going to go together. so a lot of times people are having electrolyte deficits, I'll say, for lack of a better word. They're not having electrolyte deficits if they're eating a high carb diet, because they're retaining the water. And when they're retaining the water, the electrolytes are sticking around with the water. But when you start to release the water on the ketogenic or low carb lifestyle, now the electrolytes are leaving with the water. So therefore you need to replenish those electrolytes. All right. So I hope that makes sense. If y'all got any questions, definitely let me know. So Ellen says, now that analogy was perfect, I understand now. Oh, awesome, Ellen. I appreciate that. I love to get the feedback. Oh yeah. Lou in the Lou says, don't forget to hit the like button. Appreciate you, Lou. Let them know, Lou. You got to hit the like button, because if the content is valuable to you, you got to tap the like button in order to let the algorithm know that this is valuable to you. So so we're talking about sodium. So so those people who experience the light headaches and things like that, oh, I can see the light come up. So shoot, I saw it pop up there, Lou. There's only one of them though. Good gosh almighty. And that was Ellen. Appreciate you, Ellen. All right. So if you're experiencing the lightheadedness, which people experience, that's because you're probably lacking that sodium. You're just lacking electrolytes for that day. You know, maybe you just haven't gotten any today. So this is one of the reasons why electrolytes are good. So easy way to get salt is to add it to your food. and don't be afraid of it. All right. Don't be afraid of it on the ketogenic lifestyle because you're not retaining the salt and the water as you were when you were eating a high carb lifestyle. So therefore, your blood pressure, that's the biggest fear because everyone always associates salt with blood pressure. I know because, you know, we all from the same era. You know, we always associate salt with blood pressure. So you don't be afraid to add salt to your food. Don't be afraid to add a pinch of salt to your water, things like that, because this is one of the reasons. So let's go back to potassium. So I talked about potassium and the cramping. I'm looking at my notes, y'all, to make sure I don't miss anything because I jot some things down to make sure that I don't miss anything. So looks like I'm doing good here. So potassium. So low potassium symptoms are diarrhea, dizziness, low energy, and heavy legs. Like, you know, heavy legs can mean anything to anybody. But, you know, if you just kind of feel like you're dragging your legs, are like, man, they just don't feel like they usually do, like they're supposed to. So like I talked about before, the brain sends these messages. So it's neurological. You know, all of these messages that are sent, there are electric waves. So I don't want to challenge y'all to do this, but hey, if you take a knife or fork and you put it in that daggone socket, you're going to know it, right? Because it's going to screw with the electrical circuit, not only in the wall, but it's going to screw with the electrical circuits in your body. So that's one of the things that the potassium is actually doing that. And y'all may have even heard, I don't want to get too sciencey, but there's a potassium pump that we have in our body that helps us to do this. So when we're lacking the potassium, and I talked about this, when the messages are sent to our muscles, it's almost like a glitch in the system. And it's like, it kind of like almost, if you imagine, like, remember Max Headroom? Y'all remember Max Headroom, y'all. Y'all put a thumbs up or a like or something if you remember that, Max Headroom. And, you know, he used to always kind of have that glitch and he would repeat the same thing over and over and over again. So it's kind of like that. Like you get that glitch when the potassium is not present and it repeats. And then that muscle is like spazzing or jerking or whatever you want to call it. But that's why that happens, because there's a lack of potassium and it keeps firing the muscle over and over and over again. And that's how you end up with those cramps. So I'm put Lou's up. Lou said, don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. All right. So the foods that you can get potassium from. So we talked about sodium. It's pretty simple. You know, you can just, you know, get your salt, you know, add a little salt to your water, or just make sure you add salt to your food. So that's one of the ways there. So also, y'all got to remember the heart is a muscle. So some people have been talking about experiencing palpitations. So this why I keep saying, y'all, it's about electrolytes and drinking your water. So some people are experiencing the palpitations because it's a muscle. So it's the same thing. The brain is sending a message to your muscles, and the heart is a muscle. And if you getting a glitch, the Max Headroom, and it's like, you know, keeps glitching and glitching and glitching and glitching, that's when you feel like your heart skipped a beat or you got a palpitation. It's because you're not getting enough electrolytes. So I'm showing you today how to get these electrolytes. So potassium is the one, though. Potassium is that one that you really need to make sure that you're getting. So in the food, you can get it from avocados. Avocados have more potassium than a banana. This is one of the things that I learned in the early days of my ketogenic lifestyle, because I was like, man, like my reason for eating bananas every day was I needed the potassium, right? That was my quote unquote reason for eating bananas every day. So when I started keto and I realized, like, man, bananas are like 25 grams of carbs per banana. I was eating like 2 every morning. So I was at 50 grams of carbs before I even like got out the house in the morning. So, you know, and there's probably a lot of people like that. And not saying, so I always want to say this because I'm not saying that bananas are not healthy or bananas are not good, you know, and then sometimes people kind of get that mixed up that, oh, you just saying it's not good. No, it's not conducive to the ketogenic lifestyle. You know, if you're keeping your carbs low, then a banana is not going to help you do that. If you're having issues with diabetes, a banana is not going to help you control your diabetes. Because if you're eating a banana for potassium, I got a solution for you. The avocado has more of it. The avocado has more potassium than the banana does. So you definitely can use the avocado to get that potassium. I don't know if you like avocados or not. I had never eaten avocados until I started the ketogenic lifestyle. Never, never did. So, that was just like, once I started the ketogenic lifestyle, I was like, oh, well, let me see what this avocado is about. So guacamole was there. I never wanted to try guacamole. I never really wanted to eat anything. I didn't want to eat anything green, veggies or nothing, growing up. I didn't want to eat anything green. So guacamole was just something else that was green that I didn't want to eat. So, of course, I've learned to actually like, I can't even say I learned to like avocados, because the first time I actually ate it, I liked it. And I would eat them on my salads all the time. And that's where I would get my potassium. Right now, to this day, I'll cut up an avocado and just put it on a plate, put some everything bagel seasoning on there, and I'll eat an avocado. I mean, literally, just eat it in that way. I'll put it on the side when I make my bacon and eggs or whatever. I may put some in the eggs. I may put some on the side and just eat it separately. But that's where I'm going to get my potassium. You can get it from spinach. I've always loved spinach. Probably because of Popeye, I thought it was doing something for me. So when I had to eat my vegetables, I was like, well, just give me spinach. So spinach was probably my favorite vegetable, especially with some butter on it. So spinach and animal proteins are really good as well for getting your potassium. And then last but not least, your broccoli. So you definitely want to use those to get your potassium. But the one thing that we've learned is that the veggies that we get, they don't house the same amount of nutrients as our ancestors used to get, because the soil is depleted of the nutrients that we used to that they got. And so we don't get that. We don't get those. We don't get it as much. So you said, how will I take your body to accept the electrolytes? So it won't take long at all, Renee. So the electrolytes will be fairly immediate, when you get those electrolytes. So that it will be fairly immediate. And we see that because we've had people in the group who experienced muscle cramps, and they would put a pinch of salt, and then their cramps would subside almost immediately. So, and anything that you take in liquid wise. So I know sometimes people like to take capsules and things like that, which is fine. But when you drink something like an electrolyte, your body absorbs it a whole lot quicker than say a capsule. So Carl says, Popeye, you really going back? Yeah, I went to Max Headroom. I went to Popeye. Carl, I'm showing my age a little bit, right? So that's potassium, y'all. So I mean, the potassium is the one. That's the one you really got to really kind of make sure that you're getting that potassium, and it's the messenger. So potassium is the messenger. So it's almost like potassium isn't available. It doesn't let the calcium do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't, and it doesn't let the brain tell the muscles what they're supposed to do. So the potassium has to be present. It's almost like the doorkeeper. So so you got to make sure you're getting that potassium. So magnesium is the last one that I'm going to speak on today. I'm going to check to see if we got anything in here. So spinach, need to be careful. He said, Wendy, correct. He said, I take ACT. So very aware. I'm not sure what that was that about. I can't go too far into the messages over there because I'll get lost in the sauce. So I said, what Facebook user says, I love avocados now. Yeah, I do too. So that is definitely become a staple. So magnesium, so it's good for the nerve conduction. So it's good for the nerve conduction. I mean, it's good to help send the messages through the nerves, which you want. So it's crazy that we're talking about like the electrical pulses that go through our body, right? The magnesium is also very good for helping us burn glucose. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to burn off the excess glucose. And it's also very good for muscle contraction. So there again, it's going to go hand in hand with that potassium when it comes to that muscle contraction. Like I keep telling y'all, the heart's a muscle. The leg muscles are the biggest muscles we have. And that's why when we have cramps, we usually get them in our legs because those are the biggest muscles that we have. So it also helps to regulate the potassium. So we talked about that as well. I'm going to give y'all the one natural way after I tell you this. So it's also calming. So some people will actually take magnesium to go to sleep. All right. So some people would actually take magnesium to go to sleep. So what I've learned is that magnesium glutamate is the better one, is the better one, according to pharmacists, is the better one. the magnesium glutamate, because I know they got a couple different kinds, but magnesium glutamate is the better one to use. And you can literally take an Epsom salt bath to get some magnesium. So you would absorb through your skin and you will be able to get some magnesium. So every now and again, y'all, just take yourself an Epsom salt bath, and that will help you get a little bit of magnesium if you need some. So those are that's where I really wanted to go with on this electrolytes, because people are dealing with palpitations because of electrolytes. The heart is a muscle. You're not getting enough potassium. So when the brain is sending the message to the heart to do its thing, pump that blood, do what you do, it's not enough potassium there. So you get the glitch in the system is repeating itself over and over and over again. So it kind of gets that weird palpitation, in which people are like, get nervous. Of course you get nervous. Of course you get nervous. So that's why people have that. And that's why if you read something about the ketogenic lifestyle, then you may read that heart palpitations is not, I don't want to say it's normal, because it's not normal, but it is a common occurrence, And when I say common occurrence, it doesn't happen to most people, but people who teach or aware of the ketogenic lifestyle are aware that is something that does occur. So the solution to that is to make sure you're getting enough potassium and sodium and magnesium to make sure that you are combating that. So what I like to use is, I always tell y'all about Ultimate Replenisher. That's one of my favorites, just because of the flavor of it. Ketones, actually, a lot of ketones have those electrolytes in them as well. I use Sport and Go. So those are my three favorites. I drink ketones, I drink Sport and Go, which is an electrolyte drink, and then I also do the Ultimate Replenishers. So if you are looking, I keep forgetting to do it, but Ultimate Replenisher sent us a promo code. I think it's like 10% off. I will have to go to the website and add that up there, but they taste great. I mean, they taste great. So definitely is a great way for you to get those electrolytes. So if y'all got any questions on the Facebook side, definitely drop them in here. I really just wanted to kind of just get that out there so everybody can understand what's the purpose of these electrolytes. Why do we need these wings? Like why? What's going on with them? So that is why we need electrolytes, and that's what it does inside our body. A lot of times you go to the gym, you sweat, you get the white ring around your shirt, and then you drink a bunch of water and you're not replenishing your electrolytes. So Gatorade, Powerade is not replenishing your electrolytes in the way that you need, especially on the ketogenic lifestyle, because that is one way that you're decreasing the amount of electrolytes. And as we said, decreasing the amount of sodium that's present, because the sodium is going to be leaving your body with the water, because you're not just holding on to water like you used to. So I hope that helped y'all. Y'all definitely leave a comment down below on the Facebook side, on the YouTube side, if you got any questions. We'll see how this software works. We'll continue to mess with it. I like the fact that it goes to YouTube as we record, so I like that. But I can't have the quality being bad, so we'll see how that works out. So I appreciate y'all coming on the Facebook side. Y'all know we're gonna go live, do our live Q&A on TikTok. So if you don't have me on TikTok, I'm at Keto Coach E on TikTok. I didn't even stream the banners down here. So the phone number. So I got that streaming across there. So the phone number is there as well. So you can text me, you can call me. We can set up a time to talk, and I can walk you through some of the things you might need to improve on the ketogenic lifestyle. It's totally free. I don't charge anybody for that. If y'all look over there, right there, I can't get my finger to go the right direction. That's my book. So that's my book. It's called the Keto Playbook. So y'all definitely check out the Keto Playbook. It's $9.95. It will walk you through the ketogenic lifestyle. It is sent via email. It is an ebook. So you want to definitely check your junk mail if you don't see it. And if for some reason or another you just can't find it, message me directly, text me, call me, whatever, and I'll make sure that you get it in any platform that you need it in. So I'll be here to make sure that you receive it. Excuse me. So y'all, thank y'all once again for dropping in on the Facebook and the YouTube side. Definitely leave a comment down below, leave a like, subscribe on the YouTube side as well. So I will see you guys next Sunday, maybe earlier. I'm going to do better. So hopefully this software works out, and I can actually start to pop on a little bit more often. So thank y'all. If y'all got any questions, comments, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the TikTok side. So at Keto Coach E on TikTok, and we're going to start with our Q&A. All right, y'all. Well, I'll see y'all later on the Facebook and YouTube side.